Well, we know we want safety top of mind for many travelers. It may be best, if you can, to avoid certain areas if you're able to do so.
And that includes parts of southern Minnesota where freezing rain is in the forecast. Bill Keller is live on the roads for us this morning. He is south of the metro near Mankato, just north of where conditions are certainly worsening. Bill, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, those freezing conditions are not only on the forecast, they are also on our windshield. In fact, we are on Highway 22 between Mankato and St. Peter, and we've been straddling that plum color that Keith was talking about and the winter storm warning. We've seen more plows out now than we have throughout most of the morning. MnDOT has been talking about their strategy to deal with this. We'll talk with them in just a second here, but I can tell you overnight snow coming down in Mankato certainly starting to accumulate. It has now turned into a mix of both that snow. It's a heavy, wet snow, not much of it. So far, about an inch or so has come down, but we stopped to fill up the tank and get a refresher and a refreshing blast of cold and freezing rain into your face this morning. In fact, MnDOT is saying that the conditions can be hazardous in many spots, but they're going to do everything they can, and the timing of the storm factors into their approach to keep things clean.
Temperatures, though, are in our favor this time around. They're warmer, so our materials like brine and salt, rock salt, should work pretty good out there. It's just going to be managing hours and hours of potential snowfall with this one.
Yeah, taking back a live look at 22 as we head north of St. Peter. There's variable conditions. It's a little slick out there, and again, at some point it's going to be salt. Later on, it'll be more plow action, and then they'll need the combination to get those roads clean. So just give yourself plenty of time out there because it will be slippery. By the way, we've went through a lot of roundabouts in St. Cloud, and those are particularly tricky for even four-wheel drive or snow tires. So give yourself a little bit of extra caution as you hit those roundabouts. Otherwise, you'll be hitting a curb or maybe something worse.
You may be spinning around is what may happen. Right. Yeah. All right. Bill, thank you.
Well, meanwhile, the metro is getting ready to see, a heavy dose of that wintry mix.
And heavy, the key word here, as in heavy snow. Cody Matz is outside of the station with more on that. And Keith and you have been talking about that this morning. There's going to be a lot of water content in this snow.
Yeah, this is not typical January-style stuff. Typically, in January, we get these little clippers that pull out of Canada. We get a little bit of fluff, an inch or two of fluff, and then a lot of cold air, sub-zero wind chills. None of that this time around. In fact, I'm not wearing a hat because it's not super cold. Now, granted, when the wind hits you, it doesn't feel all that great. But, this is more of a March-style system. We're running into a lot of moisture. There's a lot of moisture coming out of not only the Pacific Ocean, yes, it's crossing the Rockies at upper levels of the atmosphere, and then low levels of the atmosphere coming out of the Gulf of Mexico, combining to give us this wet slop, and in some cases, ice. And so you're just going to get kind of this chunky style snow that we already have on the ground that looks, well, it looks more crystal-like. So this could almost be some diamonds in my hand. Ooh, wouldn't that be nice? But we've seen some Dippin' Dots at 7:30. Now it's just these huge flakes that are falling, and it's certainly going to add up over time. Not only is it going to come down in bucketfuls, so to speak, but we're going to tally it up here over the next 36 to 48 hours. In fact, check out your largest two-day snowfall totals or snowstorms in the Twin Cities for the month of January. Like I mentioned, we don't get a lot of big storms in January. This all stems from the largest snowstorms were back in the early 1980s. In fact, 1982 was on the list twice. In fact, it was a 4-day stretch of nearly 40 inches of snow. So just a tremendous week of snow, and one of the snowiest actually in state history, dating all the way back to 1872. Now, that aside, there have only been a couple of times, really in the last 40 or 50 years, we've actually seen a foot or more in a 2-day stretch. Now, granted, that's not our forecast. That would be the exception, not the rule. But obviously, even dabbling with the potential of 9 or 10 inches of snow here, even in the Twin Cities, is unusual for the month of January. And to top it all off, it's not fluff. It's the heavy, wet concrete. So good luck shoveling and moving it aside over the next couple of days. Guys,
bend with the knees.
Yes, that's
very important.
Heart attack snow, yeah. Thank you, Cody.